Everyone laughed when Oogway pointed at Po. The crowd, the Furious Five, Shifu, even Po himself couldn't believe it. A clumsy, out-of-breath noodle-shop panda who crash-landed into the ceremony because a firework launched him over the wall. Tigress had trained her entire life for that moment. The Furious Five were the most skilled warriors in China, and Oogway passed them all over for a panda who couldn't even climb the stairs. For years, everyone accepted the same explanation. There are no accidents. The universe works in mysterious ways. Believe in yourself. Sweet, clean, simple. But here's what nobody tells you. That wasn't the real reason. Not the whole one. Oogway made that choice because of something that happened 500 years before Po was ever born. A secret he carried for centuries. And when it finally comes out in Kung Fu Panda 3, it reframes everything. The first film, the tournament, the scroll, all of it. In a way that will make you need to rewatch every single movie from the beginning. Stay with me. Before we get to the secret, we need to talk about what everyone assumes. The popular reading of Oogway's choice is this. Po showed up by accident. Oogway sensed something special in him, and his pure heart and unconditional love of Kung Fu made him the right person for the job. And that's not wrong, but it's the surface. It's the reading that makes the story feel warm and motivational. The real reading underneath it is colder, stranger, and far more deliberate than a wise tortoise simply following the universe. Because here's the detail that breaks the whole thing open. Oogway didn't just stumble upon this moment. He engineered it. He created the Dragon Warrior legend. He created the Dragon Scroll he called the tournament. He knew exactly what he was doing at that ceremony. And the clue that proves it has been painted in black and white on Po's body the entire time. Look at Po. Really look at him. He is a giant panda. Black and white. In Chinese philosophy, that is the literal physical embodiment of the yin and yang, not a symbol of it, not a metaphor. The actual living, breathing, dumpling-eating incarnation of the most fundamental concept in Taoism. The idea that all forces in the universe exist in balance, that light needs dark, strength needs softness, and that no single force can dominate without eventually collapsing into its opposite. Oogway, who is the purest Taoist character in the film, would have seen that the moment he laid eyes on Po, and Oogway says it himself. In the spirit realm, he tells Po directly, "I saw the panda who could unite them both. Both sides of the yin and yang. That is why I chose you, Po." That line is not poetry. It is a confession. Oogway didn't pick Po because he fell from the sky at the right moment. He picked Po because Po was the answer to a question Oogway had been carrying for 500 years. And to understand that question, you have to know the story the film's almost buried. Half a millennium before the events of Kung Fu Panda, Oogway was not a gentle sage sitting under a peach tree. He was a warrior. He led armies. He fought wars. And one day, his army was ambushed, and Oogway was badly wounded, left for dead on a battlefield far from anyone who could help him. It was his closest friend and brother-in-arms, a bull named Kai, who carried him for days through the mountains, searching desperately for help. They eventually stumbled upon a hidden village high in the peaks, inhabited by pandas. Those pandas used an ancient power called Qi to heal Oogway, channeling their life force, their inner energy, the same power that flows through all living things, and pouring it directly into him. Oogway survived. He was fascinated by Qi, and the pandas taught him to use it. But Kai saw something different in that power. He saw a weapon. He wanted to take Qi from others, not share it. And when Oogway realized what his friend was doing, he had no choice but to stop him. The two brothers fought in a battle that shook the earth, and Oogway banished Kai to the spirit realm. That betrayal of the closest friendship of his life ending in a fight he never wanted shaped everything Oogway built afterward. The Valley of Peace, Kung Fu, the Dragon Warrior legend. All of it was built on the foundation of what the pandas gave him. Not just their healing, their philosophy. The pandas understood Qi because they lived it, not through force or discipline, but through love, acceptance, and the willingness to give freely without demanding anything in return. Oogway never forgot that, and he spent 5 centuries waiting for a panda to walk back into his world so he could return what the pandas had given him, by placing one of their own at the center of everything he had built. Now, go back to the first film and watch the tournament scene again, knowing that. When Po tumbles into that arena, Oogway doesn't hesitate. He doesn't look confused or surprised. He raises his finger slowly, deliberately, and points. Shifu screams that it was an accident. Oogway simply says there are no accidents, and that line is doing something much deeper than comfort. In Taoism, there are no accidents because the universe moves in patterns too large for human control to intercept. Oogway didn't believe Po fell from the sky by chance. He believed the universe had finally sent the right panda at exactly the right moment, closing a loop that had been open for 500 years. But here's the part that makes this even more deliberate. Oogway also knew Kai was coming back. He had a vision of it. He knew that the only force in existence capable of defeating a Qi-stealing villain was someone who could could harness and give chi freely, and the only beings who had ever truly mastered that were the pandas. So his choice of Po wasn't mystical whimsy. It was a 500-year-old chess move landing exactly on time. But here's the most uncomfortable question the film quietly plants and never directly answers. If Oogway's reasons were this calculated, this premeditated, then what does that mean for Po? Was he ever really a choice, or was he always a piece on someone else's board? And the beautiful, devastating answer is both. Oogway chose Po because of what Po was, his lineage, his species, the chi in his blood, but he also chose Po because of who Po was. Because the yin and yang isn't just a pretty symbol, it describes a person who carries contradictions completely. Po is a warrior who hates violence, a fighter who leads with love, a hero who doesn't believe in himself, and who wins not by being the strongest in the room but by making everyone around him stronger. No one on the Furious Five could do what Po did. Tigress could have defeated Tai Lung with raw skill, maybe, but she could never have looked at a defeated enemy holding a blank scroll and said quietly, "I know." I didn't get it the first time either. That line, that impossible, generous, soft line, is what the Dragon Warrior actually needed to be. Not the most powerful fighter, the most fully human one. And this is where it comes back to you. We spend so much of our lives believing that the people who choose us, who give us a title, a role, a piece of identity, did it because they saw something exceptional. And sometimes we're right, but Oogway's choice of Po reveals something more complicated and more freeing than that. You were not chosen because you are perfect. You were not chosen because you are the most skilled, most polished, most prepared. You were chosen because of what you already are. The contradictions, the softness, alongside the strength, the black and the white living in the same body. And because the world needed exactly that combination at exactly this moment. Oogway told Po, "I saw the future of Kung Fu in the past. I saw the panda who could unite them both." He wasn't flattering him. He was telling him that his whole identity, the thing he had always been ashamed of, the round body and the gentle heart and the love of dumplings and the complete lack of warrior credentials, that was never the obstacle. It was always the point. The universe didn't need Po to become someone else. It needed him to become completely himself. That's not a children's movie lesson. That is a 500-year secret that a tortoise carried across centuries and placed quietly in the hands of a panda who fell from the sky, right on time, right where he needed to be, exactly as he was. There are no accidents. Oogway knew that from the moment the pandas healed him on that mountain. Did he? Or was it faith? Drop your theory in the comments. I read every single one. And if this changed how you see the first film, the next video goes even deeper into what Oogway knew that nobody else did. You won't want to miss it.